right. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? We are live. Oh, we got a third one. Brandon, what's up, buddy? What's up, y'all? So last year, we launched the Real Modern Agents podcast, where I came on and I featured people from my real estate network to come on and just kind of chat about real estate and kind of what's going on. And I wanted to kind of relaunch it. We got off of it for a while there, but I thought it was a good time here before the new year to relaunch it. So gentlemen, welcome. If you want, go ahead and introduce yourselves, what markets you work in, and then we'll get right into it.
Well, just like you said, this is probably the end of, we are literally the end of 2025, going to start 2026 very, very strong. We are in the most competitive market. I am in Miami, Florida market. Awesome place to live, to invest, to have the most wonderful life. Brandon, where are you coming from? Where are you right now?
I'm actually in the Daytona Beach area.
Cool.
So yeah, Daytona Beach, and I spend a lot of time out in Orlando as well. So that's where a lot of my business is. Particularly for sale by owner. For sale by owner expires your standard, usually what people kind of start out in. But now a lot of just repeats. I've kind of built up to where I'm not doing so much of, I still do some outbound, but I'm handling a lot of repeats, and investors keep me pretty busy and investing myself.
Cool, man. So welcome to the show, guys. Let's keep it simple today, right? Let's start with this. What do you guys kind of see happening in the market and just in general in 2026? Do you see inventory going up? Do you see a crash? Do you see everything staying the same? What's kind of your opinion on that? Andres, you can go first.
Cool. So here in Miami, we have incredible headlines, and these headlines are extremely alarming. Everyone talks about a real estate crash, that markets are collapsing, that properties are overpriced. They're not seeing the bigger picture. At least that's what I see, a bigger picture. Miami will be the most expensive place on earth to live. It's not going to be New York. It's not going to be Tokyo. It's not going to be LA. Everyone is moving to Miami for many reasons, and I think that we all understand what those are. Miami has multiple, let's say subdivisions, and of course each subdivision, just like any other state, doesn't affect the value of any other subdivision. So right now in Miami, we're seeing growth in a couple of cities. One of them that is going to be, or it is an incredible opportunity for everyone who is watching this video, who is looking to invest in real estate. Take a look at Allapattah. Take a look at Little Haiti. Those two areas are going to be an incredible, or they are an incredible opportunity right now. Very close to Wynwood. You live here, Brian. You already know where they are. Very close to Edgewater, a few minutes away from Miami International Airport. So if you're looking at this video and if you're thinking about investing, take a look at Allapattah and Little Haiti. A crash, I don't think so. We have too many data points that show otherwise. We have a condo, let's say, nightmare. Every condo that is over 40 years old, yes, that's an incredible opportunity because those prices are going down. Most of those other units or buildings are going to be bought by developers very, very soon. Unfortunately, for some people, they will have to relocate. But for others who are really looking for an opportunity, we are in the best place on earth.
Nice. Yeah. Brandon, what do you think?
Yeah, I think I agree with that for the most part. I can't speak on the geographical location because I'm not down in Miami, but here in Central Florida, I would say, I think Florida in general, and this is just my opinion, I think Florida in general, if there was any sort of crash. I don't think it would be like a crash, so to speak, as in 2008. I think it would be, and if there was anything to that nature, I think Florida, and I mean, you can give me your opinion on this as well. I think Florida would be almost hit the least hard. I just think it's in such high demand to be here. And there's so much incentive to be here. And I just see so much development everywhere. It's insane how much new development I see in builders moving here and huge investors moving here. But I mean, what do you think, Brian? How do you feel about it?
Yeah, and I was even surprised because recently I was looking at something and I think it said even coming from California, like where I came from, the second highest like destination for people leaving California actually was Florida, which surprised me because I thought most people leaving LA and California were going to like Arizona, Vegas, right, places closer, or Texas even, right? So to see that Florida was the second one really surprised me. But if we are going to see what a lot of these headlines are saying, I think that's going to be a lot more hyper local in a sense, because that's really what I've been seeing. Even when the market started softening before, like right when I had moved here in certain places, I was like, well, here it's booming. It's quite the opposite, right? So I think even within a geographical area of a couple 100 miles, you can find pockets, or like Andres brought up, the condo market, right? Just because the condo market is doing bad doesn't mean that every single sector in the residential sector is doing bad. You just have to take a look at the data a little bit more, and I think it's more nuanced. But Florida has that appeal. A lot of people are coming here, and I do agree with what you said in the sense that if there is something more like catastrophic in quotes, it would be affected way less because this market is a little bit different. Like you can even look at, like I own Airbnbs, and people are complaining, oh man, Airbnb is horrible. My Airbnbs are doing great. They're booked out for like 3-4 months in advance. But again, I bought them strategically here in Florida, right? I don't have Airbnbs in other places. I have Airbnbs here that I bought right when I moved here, along with my personal residence. So you have to take a look at this thing beyond just the headlines. And Andres brought it up. Those headlines, man, that's what people parrot. But that's the era that we live in, where even if you watch a YouTube video, the comments aren't about the video. It's about the headline. It's about the title of the video. No one even watches it. It's crazy. So I think overall, I mean, it's kind of tough for me to say. I know, like as an example, let's say the interest rates drop a 1/4 point or 1/2 point or something like that. There's going to be a huge surge in buyers for sure. Because I know a lot of people are kind of flirting at that limit where it's like, oh, I can almost buy, right? The only thing that is crazy to me is prices have gone up so much, like nationwide. But you look at where the interest rate is compared to the crash before, like back in 2007, 2008. And a lot of the factors that caused the crash back then aren't present now, right? But still as a whole, when you look at the market, it's kind of weird, right? Like prices keep going up, but like, transactions were down, but like mortgage applications now are up. So it's weird, man. It's almost like this shifting dynamic that you can't really predict. And I would say that's more for the consumer, right? But for real estate agents, I say, dude, you guys got to, stick to what works and what I see so many realtors grasping at straws, trying to like figure out some new way of doing business. But, this is a people business. It always has been and always will be. So that's kind of where I stand on it. So you guys, is there anything that you guys are, and I can start with you, Brandon, is there anything in particular that you're going to change up for 2026, or something that you see that you're implementing in your personal business to kind of give you an edge or change things up? Or are you just pretty much full steam ahead doing the same thing?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's like you just said. I mean, there's the temptation to try and reinvent the wheel, or to get a shiny object syndrome and kind of just, like for example, it's a numbers game, especially with the prospecting. So it's, you're making the calls, and you just, maybe it's a lower conversion rate, or maybe, you get in front of people, and then it's like the conversion rate on the amount of people that you're getting in front of, then it's the amount of people that actually become a client maybe is lower. But it's just hard not to get discouraged on that. It's trying not to get discouraged on that and then get distracted, because it works. What works. And it's one of those things where it's like you're just powering through the lower conversion rates. And that's just, at least for me, I'm just seeing lower conversion. And which just means the numbers just have to get up. I just got to get the numbers up. So I don't think I'm really going to be changing anything. I think that what I would be changing would be almost in like almost like the pitch, I guess you would say. So when I get in front of people, there might be there's just a different way of you got to just kind of manipulate your pitch a little bit and to what's happening in the market. And I think that's it. I think the overall tack strategy doesn't change, but I think on a micro level, it can change according to what's happening.
Yeah, that's a good point, bro. Like one thing I've really worked with my team and my agents is learning how to, through their dialogues, throw bits of information at people that kind of throws a wrench in the engine, right? Because if all they hear is, let's say, something extremely negative all the time, and within your dialogues, there's little things thrown in there that indicate the opposite, that might get them to say, wait, what?
Yeah.
I remember having to do that when I got into the business back in 2013 because everybody said, oh, the market's terrible. But when you looked at the data already starting in like 2011, the market started coming back. So I'm door knocking and calling people. They're like, oh, I'm scared to do anything right now. It's like, dude, the crash was 5 years ago, right?
Yeah.
But they don't know. They don't know. So I don't know what your thoughts are on this, Andres.
My thoughts on this, they're kind of, I have a variety of items that I would like to bring to this conversation. One of the biggest problems that I have seen online is this big wave of real estate coaches. This wave of real estate coaches that have never sold a single property. This wave of real estate coaches that say that social media is the best way for you to generate business. And I'm new to the industry. I know that I have to talk to as many people as I can in order to make it happen. I've been in YouTube for many years. I love the platform. To me, that's number one. I don't care about Instagram or TikTok. I focus on YouTube. Mm-hmm. And to me, YouTube has been just my creative outlet to learn about real estate. Whatever I don't know about real estate, I learn about, and then I make a video.
Yeah.
So when it comes to these online real estate coaches that all they teach is you have to make reels and you have to do this trend, you have to dance, you have to do whatever. That to me has been, let's say, a huge virus that has affected and infected millions and millions of real estate agents or realtors. They think that just by creating one video is going to attract buyers or sellers or tenants or whatever. They're forgetting that we are in real estate, and this is like let's say that we are in sports. This is contact. We need to contact people as much as we can, as frequently as we can, and as hard as we can, without, of course, affecting them or going too violently. So that to me is a problem. Me, for 2026, what I'm thinking about doing is, in a way, try to dedicate more time cold calling.
Yeah, simple, man. And across the board, like other agents that I'm talking to, team leaders, brokers, two things I'm hearing, right, from them. Most of them, the vast majority, what you guys just said, hey, we're getting back to the old school stuff or more of the old school stuff, because a lot of it has to do with the news cycle in the media, but generally speaking, less people are transacting, right? So by virtue of what Brandon said, you're going to have to talk to more people, right? If it took 20 people before to put a deal together, maybe now it's 30 or 40, which is fine. But the other piece is, if people are putting money into the business, they're being strategic, right? They're not, like Andres said, they're not dancing on TikTok to try to get leads. They're creating something, right? And putting money behind ads, like a virtual sales letter, a presentation for buyers or sellers, and putting ad money behind that with a specific call to action, and it's strategic and it works and it's been tested, right? But the bulk of it, that's a piece of it. The bulk of it is doing the old school stuff. right? They're doing client events, client appreciation events, right? They're doing stuff in their neighborhoods. They're doing a lot of cold calling, open houses, door knocking. They're talking to people. They're getting out there and meeting, local and medium-sized businesses. They're part of, the Chamber of Commerce and all that other stuff. And the dynamic that I see shifting, and I want to get your guys' opinion on this, and maybe it's because it's like the younger generation coming in, maybe. I feel like social media has really blown up, right? But people, and this is just my thought process, and you guys can chime in on this. I feel like people are like living for the camera and doing everything for this, and they're not making friends, making connections, talking to people, prospecting, or doing any of that, right? This has become their best friend and their only confidant, and they're not out there connecting with people in the real world. They're living virtually instead of in the real world. What do you guys think of that?
But, well, you know what, Brian? It's not only the younger generation. I see it also in realtors that have been doing this for 20, 30 years or more, that perhaps they are, let's say, burned out. Perhaps they see multiple videos on YouTube and say, oh, you have to do this, you have to do this, you don't have to cold call. Cold call is dead. And you can see on YouTube thousands of videos that say cold call is dead. Yes, cold calling is not easy. Cold calling, not only that could be boring, right? Because all you're doing is basically waiting for someone to pick up the phone and in order to engage in a conversation. But unfortunately, we can call 200, 300 people and perhaps 4 will answer the call. So that time could be devastating for most. And that's when they think, oh, cold calling is dead. Yes, I've been calling for so many hours. Nobody answered the calls. I'm going to start making videos. And they jump on that train. So it's not only the younger generation. I think it's everyone in the real estate industry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would agree with that. And I think that goes along. I think that definitely goes along with all of these things, like TikTok was in the last 5 years or so, is when TikTok kind of came around. It's like something new. It's constantly something new and something that's more like I joke around. I'll say like, if someone has TikTok brain, it's like that short attention span, it's like, it's just it's like almost it's becoming more and more short attention span, and people, it's like, and it's like it affects our attention span and agents, like you just get on social media and you start going down this rabbit hole of like, oh wow, here's a strategy, here's a strategy, here's a strategy. Like you gotta pick one or you're just going to be dancing around all these different strategies. And I always find myself going, I don't know, man, I'm just going to go back to what like has always worked. I'm just, go back to, I don't know. That's just me personally.
TikTok brain.
The TikTok brain.
It's true, man. Because like the argument that I always bring up to people, because of course this is cool to say, and a lot of people will agree, some people will disagree. I say, well, look, everybody, I think if they took a look at it objectively, would look and say, all right, we've gone more towards that, generally speaking, agents in the industry, more towards digital stuff, doing AI videos, dancing on TikTok and all that crap, right? But look at the average agent production over the last 5 to 10 years. It's plummeted. When I got in the business, 12, 13 years ago, it was, the average agent does like, 3, 4, 5 deals a year. Last year, 2024, 71 or 72% of agents didn't sell one house. And I think this year it's going to be worse. So I say, well, causation isn't necessarily correlation, but there's something there, I believe, where more people are getting farther and farther away from what works into this new realm, which looks cool and interesting, but is it putting deals on the table? And that's really what this is about. But what you brought up, Brandon, another piece of that is, and Andres mentioned it too, making social media, again, from the outside seems a lot more fun, in quotes, than making calls. And it's all this image that has been painted into people's brains. Because like, I don't know if you guys have an experience you want to share, but whether it was me or people that I work with and agents that I trained, once I got somebody decent, not even really good, but decent at cold calling and going door to door, they started to love it. hey, like I'm going to go out tomorrow and they really enjoyed it. Oh, I set an appointment. Oh, I got, 5 people's phone numbers, and there was a shift because they really started to enjoy it. And I think it's the skill set, right? As your skills develop, you do start to enjoy it. So I don't know if you guys have experienced yourself or stories that you can share, but it's interesting because when that switch flips, everything changes. And now they're just full steam ahead doing the prospecting. It's pretty cool to watch. And I've seen it so many times now.
One of the things that, and I feel very guilty, is that even if I'm working because I'm going into an inspection or something like that, I feel like I'm wasting my time. I should be just making calls. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And like it is, Brian, like when you start really narrowing it down, and because when you get the reps in and you start to understand it, you start to understand the psychology, and it becomes fun. At least for me, I would see it as almost like a game for myself, like, oh, let me try this out. Like I would start trying out different little things, and it was like I don't know, it was like I saw myself in like I was going into a simulation every time, and it almost became like a game, and it is fun, and I am cheesing about it because when I think about especially years when I because like I said, like lately it's been referrals and family, friends, people, more in-person kind of stuff, natural encounters and different things, but my first couple of years in the business, it was just outbound prospecting every day for hours upon hours, no door knocking, and so I think back on it, and I'm just like, you're absolutely right. It's just when you start narrowing down the skill, it actually does become fun. There's something about it.
Yeah. Do you guys, because of course the next natural progression to that is, well, I'm scared to do it, or I've never done it, I'm afraid. Like, do you guys have any tips for people that might be facing that demon? Because I hear that question every day.
It could sound simple. It's not. Just do it. I mean, I don't recommend working off from your phone. To me, this is a waste of time. Just having to manually dial is just horrible. At least to me, it's horrible. Getting to a system, if you can afford it, there's multiple dialers that will accelerate your production, or at least the amount of people that you will be calling. There's many systems, and once you start doing that, at least, let's say 1 or 2 weeks, by the end of the month, you will be just press a button and wait for someone to answer your call. It's as simple as that. It's hard to start, but once you start, it's hard to stop.
Clever.
Yes. And I actually, to add to that, it's exactly what I was going to say, Andres. There's actually a book. I can't remember who the author is. I might have it up there. The Power of One. And it basically is about that. It's about, you just, if you can't get started, it's like, oh, well, I'll just do one. I'll sit down. I'll make one call. Once you sit down and you make that one call, then you're kind of like, well, I'm already here, and you kind of just will just keep going. It's easier to just keep going if you just do the one. And I don't know, that helped me out a lot.
When I first started cold calling, I would select, I think the minimum calls that I could select one person and just call them, but I could also select 10 people, and then 25 people, 50 people, 100 people, 200 people, 500 people. At the beginning, I would just select 10 people, and gradually I would just go to 25, 50, 100, and all you do is press that button and just wait. People will answer. People won't answer. People will cuss you out. It doesn't matter. Just talk to them and have a nice conversation with anyone that talks. Even if they cuss you out, just be nice and tell a joke or whatever. Never mind. Continue.
There we go. Curtis, welcome to the show, man.
Hey, sorry I'm late. Good to see you guys.
No, you're good, man. This is kind of an open platform, so just quick introduction for the audience, and then I'll throw that question back at you too.
All right, I missed the question, but I'll try to do my best. I'm Curtis Good, Arizona team lead for Team BC, Rope Broker. Happy to be here.
Yeah, man. So we were talking about, we brought up the market in the beginning of the call, but most recently, right when you jumped in, it was helping people get over the fear of prospecting. I don't know if you had any advice for agents maybe who are getting back into it or looking into it, what you would recommend for them if they're like afraid to door knock, call, and do some of the traditional work.
I think the toughest part is just starting, right? So like if you are going door knocking, getting out of your car and hitting that first one is like the hardest one. But once you do it, then just keep doing it. Same thing on the phones, right? Like I don't love making that first call or hitting connect on Mojo, but once it's flowing, you just get going.
Yeah, there we go. Very cool. Yeah. So let's jump into this. I really want to ask you guys. We haven't really discussed between each other some of the goals that you have for 2026. So I kind of wanted to give you guys an opportunity to share. Do you have any big juicy goals or big things that you want to accomplish for next year?
I guess I'll go first since I came in here last. I want to help grow Team BC here in Arizona. We've got Billy on the team so far. Morgan's working her way into it, but I'd like to get up to 5 people here as soon as possible so we can scale all our systems and get everything going nice and smooth, and then improve for when we scale from there.
Oh yeah, I love it.
I would say it's about the same for me. I'm looking more on the sales aspect of it. I'm just going to kind of keep it cruising with where I'm at on the sales, but my focus is going to be building up social media presence, start locking in on my social media. I know we were just talking about that, but it's the consistency though, and it's doing it on top of this the traditional stuff. So I'm going to continue my traditional stuff, but building up my presence online, providing the value to people, and bringing on around like 5 people in quality over quantity. So I'd like to get 5 people on.
So when it comes to production, one of my goals is to let's say be very well known in Mexico. I've been targeting the Mexican market for it's going to be 2 years already. And lately, we have seen a lot of Mexicans moving, or not necessarily moving, investing in Miami real estate, even with the current political, economical situation between the U.S. and Mexico. Mexicans are still buying properties here. Mexicans are buying properties over $800,000 on average. And that's for my international market. Local market, I want to start working more with sellers.
Very cool. And that's big, man, because a lot of people, like I was looking at another, study that they released. There was like 2 or 3 articles, and they were bringing up how much of that foreign influence has been coming to Miami now. It's been siphoned a lot more towards Miami. So that's, if you're listening to this and you're in Miami and you speak any other language or have any sort of connection to another country, it would behoove you to start working that.
Let me let's say pause you right there, Brian, because when it comes to the international market, they are our biggest players here in Miami. We have Colombians who, for, if I'm not mistaken, 4 years in a row, they have been our biggest customers. I've been in Colombia many times, selling pre-construction primarily. I've been to Chile as well, selling pre-construction as well. I've been traveling, showing pre-construction, and while I'm there, even if those, let's say, clients or investors are looking for pre-constructions, you have the opportunity to talk to them about what a single-family home is, what it's a condo that is not brand new, but it's a great investment opportunity. And for the past 2 years, we have seen that the shift let's say, for quite some time, Brazil was number one, and then it lost its place. Colombia has been ranking number one for 4 or 5 years, and now Mexico is going up in rankings. And Mexico, it's right here. I went to Mexico probably 2 months ago. I met with an investor from New York who wanted to invest in Playa del Carmen, and then ended up buying in Aventura. So just having that opportunity to tackle, let's say, multiple markets or countries or languages, it's a great opportunity.
Yeah, 100%, man. I agree. Let's see some of the comments. Blaine said, I'm looking at the pantheon of real estate gods. It's funny, man. What's up, Blaine? You should jump on the call, Blaine. Chris asked, is there a Team BC branch in Denver? We had some members in Denver, Chris, but they moved out. If you're interested, contact me or Curtis behind the scenes on Instagram or Facebook, and we'll chat if you want to join over there in Denver. I think at one point before they moved, we had like 3 or 4 members in Denver, so we were growing in Colorado. But yeah, so I don't know. You know, all these things happening, right? There's so much that's changing, but so much is staying the same. Here's a question for you guys. I'd be curious to hear your take on this. How do you think the media is going to side with real estate in 2026? Do you think they're still going to be anti-real estate, or do you think they're going to finally come around?
What do you mean exactly by the media? You're talking about news outlets?
Yeah, news outlets, you know, these big companies that report on real estate, you know, Yahoo News and all these places that randomly will say, oh, the real estate market's crashing. Oh, the real estate market's booming.
That's never going to stop. That's what sells. That's what puts them on the map. Even if they're telling the truth or not, it puts them on the map. Yeah. So that's never going to stop.
Yeah, it depends who's paying and what their agenda is, right?
That's how I feel. Because I don't know. Sometimes I wonder what they gain by doing that, by stirring up that chaos. It makes me wonder. I don't know what they get out of saying that there's going to be a crash or kind of fear mongering like that.
Well, I think that it could create something just like what Donald Trump does. He makes a move and the stock market plummets, but the right people know when to buy and the market goes up. So people panic, unfortunately, and with real estate, it happens all day long. And we have right now in Florida or in Miami a huge crisis, and all because of the insurance.
Mm-hmm.
So property insurance are going up and up and up, and that unfortunately forces people out, but other people will buy in immediately. As soon as they leave, they're in. So to me, that's just the way it works. You scare people, they run away, and you take advantage of that.
100%. Like one thing that we've been doing, and I've been doing this for a long time, is especially at the client level and like your sphere of influence in your database, I've always become, and I've taught people how to do this, to become the source that people go to, right? So if I brand myself and I become the source of information, accurate information about real estate to 300, 500 people, 1,000 people, 2,000 people, like I think my database now has almost 3,000 people. Well, there you go. Right now, those people are going to get the real information from me. And not only that, if they're interested, who are they going to reach out to? Me. And this is why it's so important that not just with your social media, but within your actual business, that you're doing that, building that database and working it and positioning yourself, because that's really what it's about. Are you positioning yourself as the expert? So whether it was my Instagram, YouTube, or, you know, my clients, I position myself that way. So I get messages all the time. Like I think just to my team this year, I probably sent 4 or 5 referrals just in Miami alone with people who were in my database or knew somebody who knew somebody, right? But they're like, oh, you're in Miami, Brian's the guy here, right? Oh, his team is also here. Okay. I'll get messages from random people online, but my database is always making that connection. Hey, I'm thinking about doing ABC. What do you think? They're always coming to me like asking for advice. But that's been a result of all that, you know, positioning and educating, right? And I think that's something that agents don't do. They just, like Andres said, they dance on TikTok and they leave it at that.
Take some brain, like Brandon said.
Oh, man, good job.
Hey, I'll admit I need to get better at that as well as being a resource for people, man, and just making it more available.
Blaine,
There's
what's up,
Blaine.
buddy? Good to see you.
Hello, gentlemen, to the Pantheon.
Yeah, you want to say anything, man, while you're on? Because I know you only got like a minute.
Oh yeah. I'm putting out a sign, a new listing. No, I mean, I kind of had to get off for a second to get back on. What are we talking about?
No, we were just talking about 2026 and that kind of stuff, like predictions, what we think, if you're going to change anything,
Well, I am definitely bullish on how the real estate market's going to be. I feel like that, the interest rates, if they do proceed with cuts like they said they are, that will definitely help drive more buyers and hopefully more sellers to sell. But unless it gets probably to 6% or under, I don't think we're going to see a super huge people in general.
You're breaking up, Blaine.
He's gone.
Cool. All right.
Boston.
He's out of there.
I agree with what he was saying, though. I think, it'd have to be under 6%. I think people will really start pulling the trigger.
Yeah, I've told people not to rely on that, right? Because ever since I got into the business too a long time ago, it's always the same thing. Oh, when this happens, then business will pick up. And even when the market was booming, they were complaining about it.
Yeah.
It's like, no matter what,
Just keep moving the goalpost.
Seriously.
And if interest rates go down, for every real estate agent that works primarily with buyers, they're going to be running like crazy, presenting tons of offers. It's going to be time consuming because the property prices will go up. More buyers are going to bid for the same property.
Yep.
Not a good scenario.
Yep.
That's why you got to get with those sellers.
Yep.
It'll be good for on the seller side.
It's like I've always been more seller focused, but like now that you want to make that transition, Andres, is it just you're going to prospect more and focus more on going after sellers, or is there anything else that you're going to do?
I made a huge mistake, and perhaps, well, not perhaps, because of COVID, I got burned out working primarily with buyers. That was the worst time to work with buyers. And I started going into the international market looking for buyers, but it's a different story. You can definitely control more your time. Working with international buyers, to me, it's like working with listings because I don't have to go to show any property. Everything I do with international buyers is through a camera. And I can show you through a camera multiple options, multiple pre-construction. I sit with an in-house, present a project or 2 or 3 projects. It's way easier. Going from property to property, driving around like crazy, it takes a lot of time. So after working primarily with local buyers and I started working with international buyers, my goal for 2026 is continue working with international buyers, but my main focus will be local sellers, not buyers, just international buyers.
Nice. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Is
Yeah,
there any go ahead, Curtis.
I was going to say, getting listings also is probably the best source of buyer leads, right? For either yourself to do after, because they're probably going to buy something, or you're going to refer them when they move to Miami, right? Like we'll be referring to somebody out there. Or you give them to somebody on your team, right? If you don't want to be driving around and doing it. But they're calling your signs. They're, they have money because they have equity in their home. So those are better than first-time buyers and other things that you're attracting with social media and other stuff.
Yeah.
For sure. For you, Brandon, is there a particular lead source that you lean on for listings or a new one that you're going to add?
I know I've said it. I've told you, but for sale by owners, we're always my bread and butter. So if I go back, or when I do, because I'm kind of in and out of it on the outbound prospecting side of it. Like if it starts slowing down for me, I'll start outbound prospecting again. But I always fall back on the for sale by owners, and they can be the biggest a-holes, man, but they are just, I don't know. I've had better experience with for sale by owners than with expireds. I've gotten more of an attitude from expired. So that's just me personally. I for sale by owners, if I can get in front of them, it just comes down to, I mean, honestly, they're going to pick you over someone else if they just need to feel you. They need to feel confident with you, and they need to like you as a person. They need to feel like you actually care about their situation. Right. And I think it's if I can just get in front of somebody, you know, I my thing is just with the for sale by owners, I just got to get in front of them. Once I get in front of them, I'm just positioning myself there as a resource. So I would just fall back on my for sale by owners. I already know how to kind of work those people, and help them out. So that's what I would be. That's my go-to.
Yeah, there's always a constant stream of FSBOs and expireds too. I just think a lot of agents either shy away from them or don't convert them because it's like a higher skill cap compared to just a regular conversation, right? So, and I think that's where a lot of people get stuck is they're not invested enough to really develop the skill set and do it consistently enough to start seeing the results. Because when I started, I was terrible with FSBOs and expireds, but I eventually built the skill and then I started converting them. But I still had to get doors slammed in my face and get hung up on and, you know, be told to fuck off and all the stuff that you guys talked about. And I just laugh at it now. Right? Yeah, before I would take it personal, but now I'm like, oh, he must be having a bad day. It doesn't affect you, man. But see, that in itself right there is a superpower that most people don't have.
Yes.
I could be driving and I've had people just get mad on the road for no reason, and I just look at them like I just laugh. Like that stuff doesn't affect me anymore. So they could have major road rage or something like that, and I look at it like, man, that's given me so much more peace and the ability to sit in front of people too who are in heavy situations or upset or mad or sad or depressed, and I can navigate the dialogue and the presentation with no problem because I'm so used to dealing with all these different emotions that now when I'm faced with it, it's not a problem. I can navigate it with comfort. Right. And that's what a lot of people miss, because you brought up something important, Brandon. The FSBO has to know that you care.
Yes.
Everybody does, but especially a FSBO. They're like, oh, this dude just sees me as a number or a commission check. Right. Yeah. And that's huge. And I think a lot of agents will never really develop their skill set to the point where they can portray that, because that's really what it is. Once you get really good, you can put all the nervousness and all that stuff to the side and you can really connect with people. It's just, are you willing to go through that process to develop the skill set? I think really becomes the issue.
You know, I would say, I don't know an exact percentage. I would say, I'll say 80% of the time that I got a for sale by owner listing. Like 80% of the time, it was because I had a system. It was Monday follow-up call, Wednesday blast and email. I had postcards going out to these people, and then every Friday there was like a Friday text. You know, like I have a good weekend kind of text. If you have any questions over the weekend, I'm here. You know, to help out. You know, if you come across anything, whatever. On that Friday text, I'll tell you, it's like 80% of the time, it'd be right before the weekend. They would message me back, and they would say, you know what? It's been a few weeks. We're just kind of burnt out on it. Why don't you come over this weekend? Are you able to come over this weekend and we'll talk? And I'll tell you, and it's like I would get the listing. Almost every time, it was always them kind of responding to like by text or actually just reaching out to me out of nowhere saying, hey, we're kind of just fed up with this, because I was always there as a resource for them. I was always there touching them and helping them out and providing them things. And I think that's the thing is it's like you just said, you have to really care. You have to be there as a resource for these people. And if they feel that and that gets portrayed to them in the right way, they're going to just use you. You're going to be the obvious choice.
Yeah, man. And the crazy part is the answer is in what you just said, right? Like you have a system.
Yeah.
People will see a call, like I'll post a call like, oh man, he closed them at one call. Yeah, that's one call. You missed the other, 500 where I got told, get a real job, you're a loser, right? Like you missed all that. You just saw the one that I posted. So, but if you don't have a system, well, if you don't get the appointment on the first call, then what? And it blows my mind how many realtors say they have it figured out. But if I say, okay, what's your follow-up system for a FSBO? I don't get an answer.
Nothing. Yeah, nothing. And by the way, in the ones that you do get, they don't see all the times that person ghosted you or you didn't hear from them. There's times where I'd be contacting somebody for months and I'd be like, did this person just die or something? And then 2 months later, they reached back out to me. Hey, come on out, and we'd like to sit down. They ghosted me for months. So it's like you just got, even if they're ghosting you, you got to keep hitting them.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I know you said you had to leave, Andres. If you got to go, man.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
Pleasure meeting you guys. I'll see you guys soon.
Nice to meet you. Yeah.
Good to have you, bro. We'll see you on the next one.
God bless.
So what's shaking? What are you going to do through the end of the year, Curtis? What's going on? I know you've been putting some deals together, but aside from that, is it just recruit?
Yeah, recruit, and then I got to do my own deals too, right, to pay the bills. So I've got an open house plan. I'm going to go after absentee, kind of because they're not getting as many calls as the for rent by owner, for sale by owner expireds.
Yeah,
try to build the pipeline that way. And just kind of do it. And that's what I was going to ask Brandon. Do you ever do any like for rent by owners or any other absentee stuff? Because there's not a ton. Like I'm here in Tempe and I've got 12 for sale by owners total. So how long does it take to, go through 12 people, right? And we're a decent sized city. So just interested in what you do with your system. For that when you're doing it.
They're good ones, man. Like if you kind of run through the real hot ones, like I would always run through for sale owners, expireds, canceled withdrawals are really good too. Canceled I always really liked. And then I would kind of start doing for rent by owners and absentees. They're good for, like you said, like to start nurturing. And even if it's not them, they might know somebody, So I always kind of saw it like to motivate myself to do that, to be like, oh, well, they're not going to be ready for 6 to 9 months, maybe a year or something. But then I would always kind of tell myself, well, yeah, but they know people too. So, if I just kind of like, that was kind of one of the things where I would really get myself motivated to even reach out to those people. But they are good ones, man. They just take a long time. And I like, it's for me, for them, like if someone's like, oh, we're not going to be ready till like spring, like March of next year, I would like be reaching out to them like 2 months before that even. So I'd be like, okay, I'd put them in I had like a folder for each month. So I'd be like, okay, I'm going to throw them in like the January or February folder. So then I'll hit them up in January, February, always earlier than what they say. Okay. But they're also, you just got to have a system for them too. Is that what you're kind of focusing on now, or is that like your plan on like the next year?
I've been planning it and now starting to execute it. So it's just, there's a lot to it, but it's just kind of building it up. And like you said, if they're not looking to sell now, but they might be investors themselves, right? So if you come across deals, you could put them on your buyer side for an investor deal too. So like there's opportunity abound.
And if you send them out like market updates and stuff, like if you're trying to be a resource for them, make sure that you go on and you find the actual owner's address and you're not sending the stuff to the address itself, because there's going to be renters there and they're not going to care, right? So
yeah, cool. Well, I think this is a good place to stop, unless you guys want to add anything else or throw another topic on the table.
Brian, what about you? You asked us the question. What's your plans for this next year?
I definitely want to grow the network at Real, right? I want to add at least 50 people to the team this next year, to Team BC. I definitely want to get my home. I'm looking at 2 acres or more, my next personal residence. I want to unlock some of my moves in calisthenics, some of the advanced moves. I think it's about that time because it's been a couple years. But those are some of the goals I had at the top, man. Another one was add at least 100 people to my coaching program over the next year, but I think I can do way more than that. But yeah, man, that's kind of been the focus. But really, the tip of the spear definitely is adding people to Real and bringing people to the team, because now that I'm really focusing on it a lot more, I'm having a lot of people reach out and ask about it. So I think it's about that time.
Yeah, that's amazing. Love it.
Cool. All right, gentlemen, thanks for coming on. This is already posted on Facebook and it's also on YouTube. So if you guys want, you can come through later and comment and drop your socials.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. See you guys.
See you guys.
Curtis, nice to meet you, man.
You too.
See you guys.